He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
I cannot stress enough for listeners, you better study history. I know a lot of you have. Some of you haven't. Tyranny is not fun. Being a slave is not fun. We've had it good so long that we got seduced by evil, and now we're already financially destroyed. I mean, this country's going into a depression, any way you slice it. But we can come out of it. If you have liberty, you can regenerate everything very quickly. That's the engine of freedom and capital. You don't have that, nothing can bring it back. And so just know, as things get worse and worse, the solution is freedom and liberty, not big government, not tyranny, not control. Joe Banister, freedomabovefortune.com. That's what it comes down to. He that is willing to lay down his life will win his life, will gain it. He who is willing to lose his fortune will gain it. And it's not some magical thing, folks. It's if you're a coward and don't fight back, you're going to be a slave. But if you're willing to fight back, you're probably not going to be a slave. If you're willing to stand up for yourself and lose your fortune, you're the type that's probably going to win your fortune. A nation of sheep will be governed by a nation of wolves. And I said I'd take calls, and we need to have Joe back up for a full hour in the near future. I apologize for getting him on late. There's just so much. Valerie in Alaska, you're on the air with Joe Banister.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I learned about this back in the 70s, what's going on today, when I was a teenager, and now my teenagers are learning about it, and they're spreading the word at their school. My daughter's even writing a paper this week about the bird flu, and for her class, and she's going to share it with the whole class. That's going to be kind of eye-opening to a lot of the kids. But there was a few things I wanted to cover, but I know you don't probably have time. There was a woman that came out here last week. She's in the Holocaust Museum. She works there, and she was in the Holocaust, and she said she'd be willing to do an interview with you sometime. So if you have time, after this call, I'll give you her phone number. And I told her a little bit about the FEMA camps, and her eyes just opened up, and you could see the fear came over her eyes. And I mean, she spent.
Well, Glenn Beck says
she was a 10-year-old child, and she spent 2 years in the forest by herself as a 10-year-old, and not talking to anyone. And that story is something else.
Well, it doesn't matter according to doesn't matter if congressmen admit they're building camps. According to Glenn Beck, everything's fine. But yes, ma'am, give us that number. I appreciate your call. Joe, your comments on the FEMA camps.
Well, I mean, I've reviewed the evidence that you've put out there on your website and talked about, and it looks convincing to me. I mean, it's certainly every bit as solid as anything I saw relating to the income tax. People need to, again, look at Alex Jones's conduct. Look at what you've done all these years, and you refer to actual government documents, mainstream reports. The reason I was convinced was because the people that made these claims pointed to real stuff, not just some phony photocopy machine doctored up thing, real evidence.
Yeah, that's our biggest problem is that, but you have to expect this. Humanity's diverse. The media twists and spins and lies, but the alternative media, it's as varied as fish in the sea. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there. Yeah,
but, with history, with the Nazis, I mean, certainly they had camps and all these kinds of things that we're seeing now is what they had before they went to what? Imprisoning people, murdering people. I mean, these are the precursors. They have to do something with the bodies. They have to get people to go to these camps somehow. They have to fool people. So, I mean, we've seen it laid out how it's done, and you're pointing out the similarities, and I hope people are waking up.
Joe Banister, freedomabovefortune.com. Really appreciate the fine work you and everybody else are doing. We'll talk to you again soon, and say hi to your family for me.
Thanks to you and all your team, Alex. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Joe Banister's a real gentleman, a really smart guy, and too nice telling me how great I am all day. Folks, I'm not great. I don't even do the best job here. I just am trying to fight the New World Order. I know if we stand up, we can beat these people, and that's what's so frustrating. Now, it's getting exciting as a lot of folks are waking up, but I'm still frustrated because I just can't stand the globalists and all the crimes they committed. A lot of important guests and information. Retransmission starts now, one place, INFOWARS.com. Spread the word about the show.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Be sure to visit GCNlive.com today.